Shayna Show. We are going to talk about today Reiki and what it means and how you feel, what brought you or what brought us to Reiki, and what a healing session looks like, feels like, sounds like, smells like.
I love it. Awesome. So I think probably before we get started, we're just going to talk a little bit, touch on like how we got introduced to Reiki and the misconceptions that I will speak about that I had of it. When I first got introduced to the concept of energy healing was after my husband had lost his job and we were making the decision to move back to Wisconsin. I was incredibly, I would say I was in a nervous breakdown. I would say I'm positive I was having a psychotic break. Everything in my life had been taken from me, and I was really angry with God because I just thought, why would you do this to me? Like, what have I done to deserve such a horrible situation and have my life ripped apart? It felt, I was very scared and sad and very angry. And one of my best friends told me about this woman she went to see. Her name is Amy Whitwam. And she said she had a Reiki session. And I was like, what is that crap? This sounds like witchcraft, some voodoo stuff. And she goes, I know, but trust me. She's like, it was so God-based. It was so beautiful. And at that point, I was willing to try anything. Like, lucky for her, it wasn't drugs that she handed me because I was losing my mind. So I said, all right, I'll try this kooky thing out and I'll go to a session. And if it doesn't work, whatever. So I had my first session. I'm not going to get into too much detail about it because I could do 20 videos about my first Reiki session, but I will say that it was the most healing, powerful, beautiful experience I had had in my life besides childbirth. Like, the most connected I'd ever felt to God before my Reiki session was giving birth to a human being and looking at that miracle. This to me was on that level. She was the kind of Reiki practitioner, and we'll discuss this later. There's all different kinds with different gifts, but Amy's gifts were definitely message based, and she was telling me things that nobody would know. She didn't know about our life when I walked in there. She didn't know that I was, on my wit's end or that my husband was fired. She said, I can tell you have a disconnect with God, and something's going on in your life right now that's really chaotic, and all these things. And she just broke it down in such a simple, beautiful way, and I've never felt so loved or connected in my life. I really haven't. Like, it was like a bunch of friends, loved ones that have known you your whole life, came into that room, and we just had the most loving session. All I heard was loving messages, encouragement, positivity, and I left there changed. That was the beginning of my awakening. I left there thinking, this is cool. I'm probably going to go to this for the rest of my life. And then it led into wanting to learn how to do it.
It kind of grows on you.
Yeah.
It opens up your heart to wanting to help and heal other people because you know how you felt.
Yes, that's what it was. Mm-hmm. And then I noticed that I would be doing it when I would talk to friends and family, I would notice I was doing Reiki on them without knowing I was doing Reiki. Just by me sharing my thoughts and the messages I was getting at the time, which I thought were me, were really downloads from above. Helping, and they would message me later and say, gosh, whatever you said to me tonight, I felt so good after. And then I discovered, I think I'm doing Reiki. So that's how I got started with it, and I have yet to create a business out of it yet, although I am going to be working with Tammy soon. Yes. And she's helping me take this next leap of faith. But I think it's important for you to hear how we both got introduced to it. So how did you get introduced to this?
Yep. I was hardcore into bodybuilding. I wasn't feeling well. I was through the most traumatic things that had ever happened in my life. My husband left. I had the rug ripped out from underneath me also. I was left with, I could say nothing, but I was left with everything because I was left with my kids. But all the material things, all of the things that I thought were important were gone. So I was starting from scratch. Anyway, fast forward, I went to actually have a colonic. I was training. Things weren't feeling right in my body. So I was introduced to this woman, colonics. She was also a healer. So she ended up becoming my mentor. And that's who I went to hundreds and hundreds of hours of Reiki sessions with her. When my spiritual awakening happened, I was seeing her for healings probably weekly at that time. and she guided me through it all. I had that guidance, which McKenna, my daughter, did not, which you'll hear about in a different situation. But I don't know, it was life changing for me. I learn and grow every single day from it. I get messages. I could sit and have a conversation with Shayna and get messages. I'm just an open vessel to communication with God and spirits and angels. And it's all faith based for me. It's all a connection with God. So it's not voodoo, it's not kooky, it's not anything of that nature. It's so connected to God that I feel like I could touch him sometimes.
Yeah, I think some of the misconceptions too that I had was that it was creepy and weird. But it's so funny. I grew up in a Catholic household until we were about 15, and then my mom switched us to a Pentecostal Christian church, like a very devout Christian church that talked about, you'll go to hell if you don't pray and all this. I mean, like, I went to church my whole life, is what I'm trying to say, and the closest I ever felt to God wasn't at church for me. Everyone is different. My personal journey to be close to God was when I went to this Reiki session and I discovered a new way to connect with God, because I always thought I had to have a priest or a preacher to do it, and I just never felt as close as I did when I went to Reiki. So I became addicted to it because it helped me. That's basically the bottom line. It helped me. So today we want to kind of talk about what it looks like to have a Reiki session and what happens in Reiki, and just give you kind of an overview of the different ways that we've experienced people who share their gift, and hopefully guide you to, learn something new. So what does a session look like with you?
A session with me, like she said, everybody sees, feels, and hears things differently. Everybody kind of gets their own vibe going when they do a healing. I have a person lay on a table. I kind of explain to them what Reiki is if they don't know what that is, how I connect to source, which is God for me. If they don't believe in God, it's the universe. Believe in something, a pebble of sand, whatever that is for you. With no judgment, right? So I will start by connecting to source. I hear things. Once in a while, I see things. I feel things. Like I can feel spirit. I can feel angels. I get tons of messages from God. I can get messages from people on the other side, people that have passed. So I don't know. I'm so grateful for this gift that I have. And I know that every single person that is on my table, it makes a difference in one way or another in their life.
Yes, and I've had sessions with Tammy, and it's a very peaceful experience. It's very tranquil, and I've had sessions with many, many different practitioners. When I do a healing, it is much like hers. Oftentimes, I just feel an intuitive voice in my head to share something. And at first, I would think, well, gosh, is it me? Or is it spirit? But you have to kind of remember, when you're attuned to Reiki and you're in that space, anything that comes to your mind is being downloaded from God. It's coming from another place.
Yep.
And we are also connected to God anyway, that when you're in a good vibrating, high vibrating place,
When you're open.
open, that's a great way to put it. That's how it's supposed to be. We're not supposed to feel that God is up here and we're down here. Even in your everyday life, when you're getting gas, when you're at the store, you should be feeling so connected to God, which I do. So in those moments, I'll feel hot, I'll feel cold when I put my hands on them. I try to open all their chakras. We have 7 chakras, and my goal is to get all of those open so that that person can be the most in the flow of life that they possibly can be. It's kind of like unclogging a drain. I like to picture it that way. Like, sometimes we hold on to energy that's negative, and our chakras, when they're open and aligned and like blasting, letting all that light from God and the universe come through, you are your most high vibrating self. And I accomplish the most and take the biggest risks and have the most fun when I'm in that space. So my goal is to open your chakras, to tell you any messages I see, hear, feel, or smell, and to just give you an hour, 30 minutes of peace. Because that's the other thing too, is like, how often do we just take time to just lay down and just listen to some beautiful sounds and hear good things about ourselves and feel connected? But like I told Tammy, I've had Reiki practitioners who don't talk at all. There are some who just use, they'll put their hands over you and they'll use the energy of the universe to heal. You can do Reiki for emotional stuff. You could do Reiki for physical.
Physical, it's incredible how you can have pain in your shoulder. I just did a healing on a woman. I was doing skincare on her and she's like, my shoulder's been killing me. I've been taking pain meds because it hurts so bad. And she just was going through a divorce and whatever, and she was holding all of the emotions in her shoulder. And I started doing the energy work on her shoulder, and she got up and she's like, my shoulder pain is gone. And I'm like, it's we hold on to things emotionally, and it starts to affect our physical being.
Yes.
So to have a healing with Reiki, just to help everything flow, and like she said, the chakras to be in alignment, just to let everything just be.
Yes. I mean, there's been times on the table where I've just started laughing hysterically for no reason. Like, or I'll start weeping. I'm not even really sad. I'm just releasing. Yeah. Because we do hold energy in, and sometimes it'll manifest as a sore. Sometimes it'll manifest as cancer. I know Tammy has worked with people who have come to her for healing from cancer, and she has amazing stories, which we need to dedicate a whole video to about that. And then there's people like me who just came because I just was in a bad mental place, and I've never slept so good after I have a Reiki session.
And isn't it incredible how it brought us, like, the worst of times have now become the best of times?
Literally.
So it's like God knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly what it's like.
Yep.
So I hope this helps you guys. If you have any more questions or anything like that, feel free to comment below and let us know if you've experienced it. We would love to discuss more about it. But we just wanted to kind of clear up what it is that we do.
And also, if you could share our message or subscribe, share the messages that we have to other people that need to hear what we're saying.
Yes, absolutely. We feel every time we speak that God is working through us and helping us to reach people that need to hear some hope and healing right now, and we need it as well. So please feel free to subscribe to our channel and to share this, because we want to build a big loving community where we all get to share our stories and feel connected. So we love you so much. Thanks, guys.
Bye. Have a
great
good day.